What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to DSM Pregame Live, Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl edition. I am one half of your host, Dylan Davis. You can find me on Twitter at DylanJD98. To my right, my co-host Scotty. You can find him on Twitter as well at Scotty Drown. You can find all of our great shows, content, and other content creators on at DSM_media. Guys, this show is streaming to you live exclusively on the DSM Media YouTube channel. That's the best place to get your thoughts, comments, questions pulled up on the screen and be interactive with each and every one of our shows. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it. Turn on notifications for whenever we go live, and let's get right into it. My man, I know you're hurting, but we got about just under 6 hours until kickoff.
Yeah.
Until our Philadelphia Eagles take on the Kansas City Chiefs. How are you feeling? I know last week we've sat here and it's like, man, I'm not that nervous. Maybe it's just because it's so far away, maybe whatever. How are you feeling right now, T-minus 6 hours to go?
I'm still feeling very confident going into this game, man. And I will say that the anxiety has kicked in, the nerves have kicked in. Like, it is game day today, right? The Eagles are about to kick off like today, 6:30, right? But I'm still majorly confident that if the Eagles come out here today, and obviously we'll get into the game, but if the Eagles come out here today and don't shoot themselves in the foot, they're going to win this game. They're the better team. Yes, Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback, but I don't know that it's as far spread as it feels, right?
As it was a calendar year ago.
Exactly. So that's where I'm at right now. But to say that I'm not anxious, not nervous, that would be an understatement. I am anxious. I'm nervous. I'm feeling the pressure, but I'm also happy to see our squad in the big game. Like, this is our chance for them to show the entire world, right? But especially the United States is focused in on this Super Bowl and show them that we are the team to beat, right? We get to answer all the questions today.
What's going on, Gint? Gint's definitely already drinking. But anyway, I think you hit the nail right on the head. It's something you and I have discussed all week long, whether it be via text or on any of the shows we've done together, interviews, etc. That's the thing, right? Like, we're confident because they're the better team. Like, it's the bottom line. The only roadblock, the only X factor that stands in our way is the best quarterback in the National Football League.
Yeah.
And what you said is exactly right. Listen, am I going to sit here and try to tell you that number one is equal to number 15? No, I'm not. Number one, Jalen Hurts, if he did not get hurt, would be the MVP of the league this season.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is, because of that 2 to 3 week injury from Jalen. So level of play similar this year, right? If they're both in the MVP conversation, but it's a lot closer.
Yeah.
Than it was when we walked out of Tampa Bay last January.
Absolutely.
That's the biggest thing. If you're looking defense, if we checked all the boxes, wide receivers, running back, offensive line, defensive line, in the trenches, the Eagles check every single box better than the Kansas City Chiefs. The difference is that quarterback versus ours. Who steps up? So let me start the show off with this, Scotty. What do you see in store for Jalen Hurts today? You mentioned it to both Connors when we did the interviews that, his passing numbers have been low since he's come back from the injury. And that's just because he hasn't had to throw the ball, right? How do you see this game playing out for him today against, I would say, a lesser talented defense in Kansas City than the 49ers? And you could argue that the Giants and Chiefs defensively aren't that far off, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And what I would say as far as what Steve Spagnuolo is going to do today, he's going to blitz Jalen Hurts. I think that's what has to happen for the Chiefs. They have to bring pressure. They have to get turnovers today. Like, they have to take risks. And I think that's where the Eagles can capitalize. We know about Jalen Hurts and his deep ball accuracy, right? Like, I think that's where we can capitalize today. But I also think you have to remain true and true to yourself, right? You still have to run the ball today. And I think that's where Jalen Hurts comes into the factor as well. I don't know that that the Chiefs will be able to keep Jalen Hurts in the pocket as much as the 49ers were able to, right? They're just not as good. They're not as sturdy. They're not as consistent. Excuse me, having the bubble guts there.
All good, brother.
Nonetheless, I honestly think that the Chiefs defense, Steve Spagnuolo is going to send blitzes at Jalen Hurts. He's going to try to make him speed up his thinking, right? Speed up the process. But I just don't know that it's going to work, right? We have the best offensive line in the NFL. So he's going to try some different things. They're going to take some risks on defense, but I think that the Eagles can also capitalize and counterpunch to those risks. So it's going to be interesting to see what Steve Spagnuolo decides to do, how he decides to approach Jalen Hurts, because do you force him to throw it? Do you keep a QB spy on him? What exactly do you do there? But I do think he's going to blitz him nonstop.
He has to, right, for them to have a chance. They have to try to turn the Eagles offense over. They have to try to give Patty more time on the field, shorter fields, etc. But what you just said is the biggest part there. How do you counterpunch or how do you counterattack if Spagnuolo is coming out and making Jalen try to drop back? What do the Eagles do? What do the Eagles run better than anyone in the entire NFL? RPO.
Yep.
You can't send the house.
Make the
when you have to when your edge rushers and when your linebackers or when your defensive end has to read that quarterback and that running back, both threats. And like, that's the part that, like, I'm looking at this on the offensive side of things from the Eagles. Nothing worries me, man. And again, maybe I'm being too overconfident. The Chiefs, they're experienced. They've been here before. They have a Super Bowl under their belt, right? Chris Jones, Frank Clark, they're damn good up front. I understand that. They don't stop the run well.
Yeah.
Their secondary is a little younger, a little banged up, not great at all. There's nothing Kansas City does defensively great.
Yeah.
There's nothing they do great.
Yeah.
And when I watch the Eagles score 31 on the San Francisco 49ers defense, why should I be hesitant at all to be confident about this Kansas City defense? Now, to your mom's point here, that's the counterpart. This comment and this comment. I haven't shown any love because I'm talking about Kansas City's defense so far. I have no love. Scott, I'll be a little disrespectful. I don't respect Kansas City's defense. I don't think they can slow down the Philadelphia Eagles offense unless they bite themselves in the foot today, right?
Right.
Now, the counterpart is it's Patty. Right?
Exactly.
So that's the scary part. Abe, what's going on, man? Give us your predictions and X factors below.
That's honestly, when you look at the sports books and you see the Eagles as a 1.5 point favorite, what that tells you is that the Eagles are the better team, but Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback. He gives them a chance, right? And
did you
that's
know that this is the only game in Patrick Mahomes' playoff career that he's been an underdog when the line closes? Like, he was an underdog earlier on in the week against Cincinnati, but then once it came out that he was healthy enough to go, the line moved to Kansas City as the favorites.
Yeah. That's interesting, though. I mean, it makes sense, though. The Eagles have the better team, man. There's just no way around that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. So offensively, I think we're in agreement, right? The Chiefs, I don't think they're going to be able to slow down the Eagles' run. If they do, if they blitz, the RPO, the read options, I think that Nick and Shane and Jalen are more than prepared enough to take on this defense. So I think the Eagles are going to score points. Let's get to the tougher side of the ball. And what your mom said here, if the defense shows up, it's a W. And I 110% agree with this comment.
Yeah, I think that's the key, man. I think that's the key. The defense has to step up today. And it's going to be the best quarterback they played all season for sure, right? I'm not going to lie, Dylan. I'm going to have to step off for a second.
You're good, bro. You're good.
I'll be.
Yes, sir. Let my man Scotty get off for a second. Abe, 34-24 Eagles. I think Miles Sanders has himself a day. I agree with you. And Abe, let me know what you think about this. So I was looking at DraftKings earlier, and the line for Kenny Gainwell rushing yards opened at 16.5 last week. It is up to 19.5. Now, that's my personal favorite play, or it was a couple days ago. That's the one I was going to hammer. Everybody, social media, friends, whatever, everybody I talk to is all over the over for Kenny Gainwell rushing yards, and that makes me despise it. Absolutely despise it. Gain, let me know. Yeah. Let's see. Dallas may haven't. Yeah. Listen, I don't have any doubt or question in my head, in my mind, that the Eagles offense shows up today. I think their over under for a team total is 25.5 or 26.5. I think the Eagles might score over 30 points today. The biggest thing, I'm going to keep coming back to this comment by Mrs. Crotty here. Eagles defense shows up equals a W. If the Philadelphia Eagles defense shows up, they will win the game tonight. Now, how can they do that? And what's been going on in the back of my mind all week is, what Jonathan Gannon do I get today? Now, interestingly enough, a couple hours ago, it comes out, Adam Schefter reports that Vic Fangio signed a 2-week contract with the Philadelphia Eagles after the NFC Championship game to help prepare for this Super Bowl matchup versus Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. So whatever his influence is, whatever relationship he has with Jonathan Gannon and company, let's hope that it works out. But my main question is, what Jonathan Gannon do I get? And I think throughout this playoff run and throughout this season, there's been throughout the regular season, there was a lot of negativity surrounding JG, right? Even when the Eagles were leading the league in turnovers, even when they were holding teams to under 18 points per game, still here and there, you would see the flashes when they would get a 10-point lead of the soft zone and let teams come back. What Jonathan Gannon do I get today? Do I get soft zone, let Patrick Mahomes pick me apart? Or do I get, I'm going to effing gut them today, Jonathan Gannon? And I think the influence of Vic Fangio may play a major outcome in this one today. Parlay all of them. Hurt, Sanders, Gainwell, and Boston Scott. All on the ground again? Four rushing touchdowns on the ground. All right, we'll see. Abe, I take the over for Gainwell as well. Abe, I want to, bro. It's my favorite play. When I look at all the props, it's my favorite play. I don't know why the line's not higher. I have 2 questions. A, I hate betting with the public. I hate it. And it feels like 95% of the public is on Kenny Gainwell's over. B, you've seen a lot of Gainwell over the last 2 games because of Miles Sanders' ankle or foot injury. They've kind of been saving him. Is Miles 100%? If Miles is 100%, does Miles get 22 carries today? You know what I mean? So I don't think he will, but does Gainwell even get the ball enough on the ground to eclipse those yards if there's a healthy Miles Sanders today? Saying yes. Who is covering Travis Kelce? What's going on, brother? Glad to have you back.
Oh my God, man.
Hey, man, I've been there before. Earlier on in the year, I was right there. So
it's Super Bowl Sunday, bro. I'm supposed to bring the energy today.
Listen, I'll take care of the energy. Bro. You just give me the analysis. All right. What's going on, KC? Let's see. Can't see a scenario where the Eagles don't have a good offensive performance and put up 24 plus points. I agree with you, man. I think they put up close to 30, if not over 30. Dude, it still feels a little bit surreal. Like, it's still, I know we're less than 6 hours away, as we mentioned, Scotty. It still feels like it's not happening today. I think I'm going to need a few more hours to get through. Yes.
Absolutely.
Now let's get back to this question. Right.
A little insight, Abe, as well. Broke my toe last night. Dumb stuff, bro. Like, I'm in a bad spot, but we're gonna fight through it for the Super Bowl. The Eagos got to get this W today. But
what's your mom think of this? What's your mom think of the broken toe?
Oh, she was like laughing and making fun of me, man. It was embarrassing, but it's not going to feel real until they win it, right? Like, they have to win it or lose it, right? If they lose the Super Bowl tonight, it's not going to feel real until that moment, I feel. Or maybe it's the kickoff. I don't know.
It's the kickoff, for sure.
It's surreal, man. It's surreal right now that we're even in the Super Bowl. But
let's look at this comment here. Who is covering Travis Kelce and KC bringing the comment? Scheme coverage. Maybe Maddox and CGJ cover Kelce. I think that's what you kind of have to do at this point. Listen, TJ Edwards can't cover Travis Kelce. He can linger around the middle of the field. He can't cover Travis Kelce. Kaiser White, theoretically, former safety, quicker, more athletic, bigger. Yeah. Hasn't been so great in coverage since about week 5 or 6. Now, Kaiser White has not been a problem at all, but he hasn't been great in coverage. I think you have to go with the safety or the slot corner, bracket them, whatever you have to do. You cannot let Travis Kelce go off today, because that's when Kansas City's offense really gets into a groove. If he make everyone else beat you, if Kadarius Toney has 88 yards and a touchdown, and Juju has 70 yards and a touchdown, and Pacheco goes off, and you know what, our defense didn't show up today. But if this dude, if 87 goes for $110 and 2 touchdowns today. That's a problem, and that's what makes me worry a little bit.
So I agree with you as far as who has to be on Kelce. Yeah, thank you, Abe. I appreciate you, brother. I agree with you. I do think it has to be CGJ. It has to be a mix of CGJ and Avonte Maddox. I agree with KC as well. What I would also ask you, I guess, do you switch it up if you're Jonathan Gannon? Right, he's played this coverage all season, right, where you just give up everything underneath. Are you giving up everything underneath to Travis Kelce today? Do you switch that up? I'm double teaming him every single time, right? And like you said, I'm not afraid of Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Yeah. I get it. He had a great game against Cincinnati last week. You talk about Juju Smith-Schuster. He's a guy that can kill you through the middle as well. But nonetheless, I'm not scared of those guys. I'm not scared of Kadarius Toney to the point where I'm not willing to give all I have to put it on Travis Kelce and take that option completely away, right? Like, that's where I'm at with the
look at the Jacksonville game.
Yeah.
Their wild card or their divisional round matchup against Jacksonville. Kelce scored 2-3 times. Mahomes, even with the bum ankle, had to come out. Kelce's the one that really led that rush. So that's what they have to look at.
And honestly, if you let him get into the end zone, the energy for the Chiefs is going to go up 1,000. Like, it's not just the fact that Kelce is so good, but he's also a leader in that team. He carries a lot of swagger with him, like a lot of energy.
You know what it's comparable to? Because that's what they do well, right?
Yeah,
so that energy feeds off of this. This is what I do well, and look what you still can't stop. It's comparable to like when the Eagles pound the ball down your throat and then run, and then punch it in from the 1 yard line, right? That's what it's compared. And then right, you see the offensive line getting, because this is what we do, and you can't stop it. If it's Kelce, that becomes a problem. Then you're going to overhelp. You're going to do different things, and that's going to open up everything else. It's going to open up the run. The middle of the field is going to play a huge factor today. But I think this point is key too, man. It's time to get to Mahomes, and it's what the Eagles did better than every other single team this entire year. Yeah. It's what they continue to do better than their counterparts in every matchup, and that is getting pressure and getting after the quarterback. Now, let me throw this to you. I think I brought this up the other day.
Yeah.
But remind me if I didn't. Mahomes is different. We clearly know that. And normally when you're talking about an all-time great, normally when you're talking about a quarterback that scares you, what do you think about? Pressure, making him move the pocket, getting him off his mark, getting him off his first read. Now, that's still true. I don't want Mahomes to sit back in the pocket and have a field day against you. However, I gotta limit the backyard football. I gotta limit the schoolyard football against this dude, because that's where the explosiveness really comes from. The rolling out of the pocket, the twist, the turn, the breaking a sack, and then no look 42 yards to Travis Kelce, right? Yeah. I have to limit that. So while I'm looking to get after Mahomes, I'm looking to get edge pressure today against Mahomes and make him climb the pocket and stay in the pocket on that ankle.
And look, exactly what you're talking about with Mahomes is exactly what we saw in that matchup against Dallas the last time we played Dallas, right? Not finishing plays. Avonte Maddox has what looks like a sack on Dak Prescott. He gets a completion, gets the first down, right? Ends up scoring on that drive. You have to finish plays today. There is no stoppage, right? Until that whistle blows, you do not stop today. You have to get him on the ground. It's not just his athletic ability, it's his strength as well. He's able to, stay up through contact and keep his eyes downfield. He's that confident. So I'm with you. Yeah. And when you talk about edge rush pressure, that's where the Eagles win today, right? Hassan Reddick, and this is something we talked about the other day, right? Whether that is Hassan Reddick just taking over this game and destroying Andrew Wiley, or he's a decoy and they have to send extra help towards Hassan Reddick. And I think if it's the latter right there, the second option, that's a nightmare for Kansas City today, because now you're looking at Javon Hargrave, you're looking at Fletcher Cox, you're looking at Ndamukong Suh, you're looking at Josh Sweat, and they're all going to have one-on-ones, right? If you're double teaming Hassan Reddick. So it makes for a disaster for Kansas City. And I agree. You got to bring that pressure off the edge. That's their weakest part of their offensive line as well.
100%. Abe, shout out to Abe's dream last night. Uh,
Yeah, I would love to see that as well. That means we are really whooping that ass if they're arguing. So, yeah, I would love to see that.
Scotty, I had my prediction ready. You know where I'm going. We're not going to get
Yeah.
into it yet, but you know where my mind's headed. But I can't decipher which side of the spectrum I'm leaning on. I could see this going two ways. In my head, I don't see the Eagles losing.
Yeah.
Like there hasn't been an outcome, and that's probably the fandom in me, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want to think negatively. But they are just a better team. Now, I have two outcomes. This game's like 37-34. Like this is a wild back and forth game going to come down to the end. No defense gets a stop, right? Or Jonathan Gannon finds a way to gut Kansas City.
Yeah.
And the Eagles win this game 31-23, 31-21. Is there, if you had to give me a percentage of of confidence, what would it be on the Eagles holding Kansas City under 24?
I would say 75%. I'm about 3/4 of the way there. And it's based on what I saw last week from Cincinnati. With all due respect to Cincinnati, they do have a great defensive coordinator. The scheme is great, but their defense is not as good as the Eagles. And they were able to hold Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs offense to 23 points. They weren't able to do what they needed to do on offense. That's ultimately why they lost the game. Anytime you can hold the Chiefs under that 24-point mark, you should have a good chance of winning if your offense is decent, right? If your offense is good, just given the respect to their defense. But yeah, I would say about 75%, 3/4 of the way there, just based on what we have seen and strictly talking about the Eagles and giving respect, giving them their dues, right? I think we should be able to turn Patrick Mahomes over, right? Like I get it. He is the best quarterback that we've played all season. We're going to really find out today. A lot of the questions are going to be answered, but I think if Gannon comes out, lets Darius Slay, lets Bradbury do their thing, obviously lock down Travis Kelce, things are going to get really tough for Mahomes when that pressure's coming and we're pinning down the ears. I think a big thing here, we're going to have to crunch on that screen game. That's another thing that we're going to have to watch out for as well. We know Andy Reid loves the screen.
For sure. Again, now correct me if I'm wrong. So I know Andy off the bye is phenomenal career-wise. I'm pretty sure Andy with 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or whatever the case is. I know it's the bye, but whatever the case is, I remember hearing a different stat. I'm saying this wrong. It's coming off wrong. It's different from Andy coming off a bye to whatever in the playoffs that I saw where his numbers aren't as good. So I know what I just said makes no sense because 2 weeks is the bye. But I forget what the number is where Reed isn't as good. And again, if I'm putting any stock into it, no, I'm not because again, it comes down to talent. And I just think that the Eagles are the more talented team. What do you want me to do, bro?
Those type of like statistics are great. They're interesting, right? But they don't mean anything at the end of the day. Obviously, having a lot of time to prepare is going to give you a better opportunity to win. But you're talking about each individual game. You have to look at each individual team that he's playing after those bye weeks as well.
Right.
So that has to factor in a little bit.
I don't even know where to go next, man. I don't even know what to think.
Look, we've come this far, Dylan. Like we've done this all season, and like this is what it is all about. And I feel like we've hit this like peak to where now it's almost just like we told you so. Getting up to this moment, and it's almost like we've been repeating ourselves up until this moment. And I just feel like today is our like day of reckoning as Eagles fans. And as Eagles podcasters, man, I think today is our day where we get to show everybody and no more talk about competition, right? Or lack thereof. There's no more excuse.
That's the biggest thing. What you just said is why I'm leaning the Eagles defense shows up, because that puts the exclamation point on the entire season. It puts the exclamation point. It puts an end to all of the bullshit, all of the easiest road, they're the fourth best team with the fourth best quarterback and the fourth best coach of the Final Four because they haven't beaten anybody. If they come out and slow down or shut down Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Kansas City in the Super Bowl and they win this game, listen, the spread's 1.5. So if the Eagles just win, good enough for me. If the Eagles win this game by 7, 8, 9, 10 points, that puts an exclamation on the entire season. So, Scotty,
absolutely,
we're about to give our predictions. We're about to wrap this up. One last thing I brought up while you were off the stream.
Yeah.
Kenny Gainwell. I'm fighting this demon, man. 19.5 rushing yards is his total. I love it. Everybody loves it, which makes me love it less.
Yeah,
okay?
I feel you.
I don't know what to do here. Are you hitting the over or are you staying away? Dare I? Yeah, imagine if I hit the under.
I know. I would not hit the under.
No,
I wouldn't hit the under at all. I don't know. It's interesting, man. Like, do they lean on Miles today in the big game? You know what I mean? Those are the things that I wonder here. But at the same time, it's like, do they let Gainwell loose? Because there's been a lot of talk about that as well. I actually like the Gainwell touchdown over the yards. I'll be honest. Excuse me there. I do like Gainwell to score today because I do think we're just going to have a ton of opportunities to run the football into the end zone. I think our Russian offense is going to do well today. So as I talk myself through it, I do like Gainwell, and we could look back at the numbers. I obviously don't have another
Listen
clue
to
into
me.
my life. I lost my phone, so I don't have my phone to listen to the numbers on Gainwell right now in the moment. But nonetheless, he's gone over that mark in both games so far in the playoffs.
He has. I'm going to lay it. Okay, I'm going to get off this stream, and I'm going to lay it. The question is
how much, that in one run.
How much do I like it? If he doesn't get it, I'm fighting each and every person on the public.
Yeah.
That talk to get you, Abe, you, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he goes 3 carries for 9 yards, I'm going to be freaking pissed.
I feel that. Project X. Oh my God.
All right, brother. We'll get you up out of here. Go grab some Pedialyte.
Some beer, man. I gotta get the beers in me.
Or something. I don't know what you need. What your cure is, but KC's got 31-24. I saw 31-17. A lot of people were going with over 30 for the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
What is your final Super Bowl prediction for the Eagles today?
And
give me an MVP as well.
I'm close to KC's prediction there. So I have it 34-24. So I like a 10-point win for the Eagles today. A late score to push that up into a 2-possession game, right? Don't give Patrick Mahomes any chances. Close that out at the end of the game. Nonetheless, I like the Eagles to win by 10 in this one. My Super Bowl MVP, it's going to be Jalen Hurts. There's some obvious candidates aside from Jalen Hurts. I think A.J. Brown could have a big game. Any of the running backs, right? Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell get into the end zone multiple times. They have a strong chance of getting the Super Bowl MVP as well. But I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts. I think he definitely runs one in today at least. And he's going to do some damage through the air. All the talk this week has been about his shoulder and is he too beat up? And no talk about Mahomes' ankle, which is interesting if you watch the national media. But nonetheless,
the more serious
number shows us today he's fine. He's straight, right? Yeah. And we haven't had to pass. I think that's the thing that everybody misconstrues with what's been going on with Philadelphia throughout the playoffs. But nonetheless, I'm going with Hurts today. I think he shows his arm talent. I think he shows his talent with his legs as well. I think we get the full scope game from Jalen Hurts today. I think he balls out and shows why he is the MVP of the NFL this season.
Abe asking, what are we eating for football food today, Scotty? We're going to start with alcohol and we're going to finish with alcohol. In the middle, there you go. Eagles Corona Crush cocktails. First of all, listen, I'm going to need the recipe for that. All right. So whatever's going into that, let me know, Scotty.
Tequila, orange juice, Curacao Blue, and a Corona.
Oh, so it's like a Corona Sunrise?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then you just throw the Curacao Blue in it to make it green.
All right, yeah, I might.
Yeah.
I have some of that, so I might have to do that. Philly pretzel tray, hoagie tray, homemade wings. Now, I'm not making them, so we're gonna see how they go. My uncle's got them in the air fryer and whatever else he's doing to them, his own sauce. I don't know, so I'll give you guys a review later on tonight.
Hell yeah. Let us know. Let us know.
We'll see.
We got the wings. We got some pork barbecue. We got some a taco setup being made as well. We got some Eagles cupcakes.
Taco dip? You like taco dip?
No, I've never had it.
No? All right, we got that on the way. Yup. We got taco dip.
That sounds good.
What else do we got? Pepperoni dip, fire. Just break bread up, dip it in the pepperoni dip. By the way, I make none of it, so I show up half drunk, and we'll see how the night ends.
KC off the Yinglings. Okay.
Yinglings, wings, potato skins, fire. Thank you, Abe. Yeah, I feel like I don't know if a lot of people know it. Abe, you know what pepperoni dip is? Because, and then, yeah, I don't know what else they have planned. I'll show up around like 3 and see how it goes.
Tito's. Oh, shit. Tits. Hey, tits for the Super Bowl, whatever it takes.
Yeah. There you go. Can you have yourself a night, bro? But anyway. Got a little off track there. The Philadelphia Eagles are not losing this game. They are the better team. And the quarterback position is not all that far off as we would have thought a year ago today. I do believe that Jalen Hurts will win MVP. You want to go fun. You want to go different, right? Like maybe Miles Sanders, maybe Hassan Reddick wrecks the game so much. Maybe A.J. Brown has a T.O.-esque performance.
Yeah.
It starts and ends with this dude. It has all year long, and I doubted him from the beginning, from the very beginning, and I'm not doubting him anymore today, Scotty.
Yeah.
They win. They're putting up over 30. I like your number of 34, dude. I'm right around there. So I'm going 34. I'm going 34-27. Now, I think the Eagles' performance, the Eagles' defense looks better than the 27. I just think as the game goes on, the Chiefs end up getting to 27. Mahomes may have the ball at the end and does not get the job done. I'll be shitting my pants if that's the case.
Absolutely.
But Jalen Hurts MVP, Eagles 34-27, and they're walking away with the Lombardi. It still, for whatever reason, doesn't feel real saying it. Like the moment doesn't feel real.
Doesn't feel real.
So
Till that kickoff.
Yeah, man.
You're looking Patrick Mahomes in the eye. It doesn't feel real.
Now, I got to ask you one more question before we wrap up. A fun one, because your mom chimed in here with the halftime show. I remember the last time the Eagles were in the Super Bowl. So, like, when your team's not in the Super Bowl, obviously you got some money on the game. You'll watch, like, last year's halftime show, right?
Yeah.
You look at the commercials maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't give a single, excuse my language, Miss Scotty, fuck.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about a commercial, about a halftime show. Don't talk to me. Do not at halftime. I'm just probably gonna stay in the corner if the game's one way or the other. Do not talk to me today.
Yeah. I mean, and I'll even go as far as my man Phil, and maybe this is what we end the show on, because I don't want to combat this too much. I'm gonna have to argue this, but Rihanna's overrated, right? Like this all this hype for this game, man. You may disagree, Dylan. I understand a lot of people like Rihanna. I think she's a beautiful woman. I think she's very talented. And I think she's talented in other fields. I don't think that she's overrated in the fashion industry or in the makeup industry. I think she's overrated in the music industry. And there just hasn't been a ton of music from her in the past couple of years. A lot of cover songs where she's covering other people's work.
Not much at all. Here's my biggest thing about it. I'm a rap and hip hop guy. So last year's halftime show was like the greatest that I've witnessed. And then you go from that. Like, why couldn't the Eagles be in that Super Bowl? That halftime show I'd be pumped up for at halftime for the Eagles.
Musically.
I'm probably, you know what? I might just turn the TV off until I know that second half's coming back on. Dude,
it's time for football,
like Casey said, don't talk to me. Don't bother me. Don't.
Oh my God. Shine bright that was like 10 years ago, like literally. But
no,
whatever.
It's more than that, I think.
Whatever.
Sorry, I keep saying last thing. What was I going to say? Oh, there we are. Okay. I know Ginn has laid 4 touchdown score props out there. We mentioned Gainwell yards, other props. I'm at this weird impasse. I don't even know if I want to bet today. And if I do, I may only want to bet Eagles team total or Eagles money line. Yeah. I don't want to
worry.
I watch Sixers games, and honestly, we do Sixers best bets. It takes away from the game itself when Embiid if I have Harden threes and someone else is knocking down, like you're happy that the Sixers are winning, but in the back of your mind, you're like, God damn it, I don't want to have to worry about AJ Brown scoring a touchdown today if it's Devontae Smith, right? Like it's the Super Bowl. All I want to focus on is that.
Oh man, we got a real live eagle in the house, man. It's that day, but no,
I'm with you guys. I don't know what I'm going to do. If anything, I'm going to live by the sword and I'll ride their money line because it's a lose-lose or a win-win, right? Put me out of my misery more, or let's go buy drinks.
Everything is on the line. Everything is already on the line, right? It's the Super Bowl. It's all or nothing. You win and you win and you're going home no matter what, right? It's just whether or not you go home as champions. So I agree. I don't think there's too much that you have to get into betting wise to where you need to root for an individual person or anything. I ultimately did lay a Jalen Hurts touchdown, Eagles spread, and Gainwell touchdown. Put $80 on it, pays out $1,060.
Wow.
I'm just throwing a moonshot out there. That's all that is. But as far as just like legitimately betting, throwing out best bets, I'm not interested in any of that today. I just want the Eagles to win. It's as simple as that.
I'm with you, man. Like I might end up laying the Gainwell yards just because of it, but like I don't want to have to worry about, oh, well, he's not on the field here and I need 6 more yards in the fourth quarter. I don't want to have to worry about none of it.
Yeah.
Focus on that. Maybe I'll throw their money line down because, like I said, it's fun, right? Or not fun. Yeah. It's win-win or lose-lose. Guys, with that being said, that is going to wrap up this final DSM pregame live Eagles edition of the 2022-2023 season. It's been a blast. We will be back next year. Stay live with us all throughout the Sixer season as they head into the playoffs. Yep. And when the Phillies start back up, at 2:00, right here on the DSM Media YouTube channel, Scotty and I have Turf Talk releasing with both interviews with Connor Thomas and Connor Miles.
Yes, sir.
To give you their thoughts, analysis, and predictions on this Super Bowl matchup. It was supposed to be released yesterday. Canva gave me all sorts of issues with downloading the videos. So it'll be released today. You'll have about 4 hours before the game starts to get you ready for that. I think you'll like to hear what both of the guys have to say about this one if you're an Eagles fan. For myself, for Scotty, for DSM, thank you so much to everyone who tuned in and who's going to watch on replay. Have a great rest of your day and go
Birds!